You know, it's funny how the biggest national conversations can start from the most unexpected places. In this case, it all started with a comedian's simple flight search. He tapped into a frustration that, apparently, tons of people were feeling, and it sparked this huge debate about the real cost of traveling in your own country.
And this is the line that kicked the whole thing off. The comedian, Pooh, posted this on social media, and with just a few words, he perfectly summed up what thousands were thinking. The rumors are true. It's almost the same. What was almost the same? Well, that's what became the talk of the town.
Okay, so picture this. The whole story starts with a really normal task. Pooh was just trying to book a domestic flight from Manila to Catraman in northern Samar. You know, a simple local trip. But what he found was, well, anything but simple. This was the price that popped up on his screen. Over 17,000 pesos for a round-trip domestic flight. Now look, for anyone who books flights, seeing a number like that for a short local trip is already enough to make you do a double take.
So let's break this down. This was for a flight that's only an hour and 35 minutes long, all within the Philippines. And it was for late January, so it's not like he was booking last minute. You have to ask, what could possibly justify that price? Well, his next search really put that question into perspective.
So, just out of curiosity, Pooh decided to check the price of an international flight to Hong Kong for the exact same dates, and the price he got? Just over 292 US dollars. Now, when you convert that to Philippine pesos, yeah, it's pretty much the exact same price.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got a domestic flight to Catarman. On the other, an international flight to Hong Kong. The price is basically identical, but the flight to Hong Kong is almost an hour longer. This is the heart of the whole thing. Why does a shorter local trip cost the same as flying to a whole other country?
And it turns out, Pooh's discovery wasn't just some personal gripe. His social media post blew up because he put a number on a frustration that so many people were feeling. It just opened the floodgates for this massive, nationwide conversation.
Immediately, people started jumping into the comments to share their own stories. For instance, one user said they paid 16,000 pesos for that same Manila to Cataman route, but a trip to Hong Kong from Clark only cost them 7,800. As they put it, the difference is crazy.
And this comment, wow, this one really gets to the core of the issue. This isn't just about picking a vacation spot. For a lot of people, these prices literally affect whether they can go home and see their families. This person is joking, but there's a painful truth to it. I'll just go to Hong Kong, I won't go home to my province anymore. It's a tough choice to have to make.
And you know, this wasn't some brand new issue that just appeared out of nowhere. Pooh's post really just poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning. Other public figures had already been pointing this out for a while.
Take TV host Bianca Gonzalez, for example. She had a similar experience, saying that a trip to Siargao, one of the country's top tourist destinations, was actually more expensive than flying to Hong Kong, Bangkok, or even Vietnam. So we're not just talking about one flight route here. This is a pattern.
All this viral frustration really shines a spotlight on a huge dilemma for the country's tourism industry. Because when you add up all of these individual travel choices, it creates a serious, national-level problem with real economic impact.
And this is the choice that travelers are now stuck with. There's this big push, right? Support local, explore the amazing places in your own country. But when you're staring at numbers like these, what do you do? Do you pay a premium to support local tourism, or do you grab that cheaper ticket and fly internationally?
Let's be real. These high domestic prices are actively working against the goal of promoting local tourism. When flying to another country isn't just a fun option, but often the cheaper one, it makes it incredibly hard to convince people to spend their travel money at home. And local businesses are the ones that suffer.
Okay, so with a conversation this loud and this public, the industry had to take notice, right? So how are travel organizations actually reacting to this outcry? Is anyone trying to fix this imbalance?
Well, it looks like the answer is yes. The Philippine Travel Agencies Association, or PTAA for short, has stepped up. They've basically said, okay, we hear you. They've acknowledged the reports, and they've announced that they have a plan.
So, their plan has three main steps. First, and this is important, they're officially acknowledging that there's a problem with uncompetitive prices. Second, they're organizing a big event, the Travel Tour Expo. And third, they're going to use that expo to offer special promos and discounted packages to try and make local travel more appealing.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. It leaves us with this huge question.
Travel expos and some discounted deals are definitely a good step, but is it a long-term solution or just a temporary band-aid? Will these efforts be enough to genuinely tip the scales and make exploring your own country the more attractive option? That, I guess, is the multi-billion peso question.